ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we are taking on the Ocean Speedway in Watsonville, California. The Tarlton team and rig have rolled into town, and we are going to be competing with the NARC King of the West 410 sprint cars at one of the trickiest and tightest bull rings in all of California.
I feel like you kind of roll the dice every time you come here to Ocean. Because we're so close to the coast, you don't know what the conditions are going to be like. There's usually really good competition, and you see a lot of different winners because of that. So we're going to take on NARC this evening. You guys know the drill. We have to do the obvious things right, get the 21 car up front, and give ourselves a shot to be in victory lane. So just got all suited up and we are ready to take on the Ocean Speedway. You can see my new Tarlton suit. Now a little information on the NARC format, very similar to how it is with high limit. It's very important to qualify in those first couple positions towards the top of the boards. That kind of locks you into a heat race. You kind of just have to transfer through. Otherwise you're set up to win the heat race to make it into the dash. And as you guys know, track position's so key. So starting in the first couple rows of tonight's main event is gonna be a big help to trying to win the feature. So we're gonna climb in, engine heat, hot laps, qualifying, and get rolling into the night. A little bit of a slow start to our night here with the 21 car. We just went out, timed in, ran 2 laps. I didn't get a chance actually to check my race pass. I just saw that we were outside the top 10. So we're gonna be coming now from row 2 or 3 in a heat race to kind of sum up my 2 laps and actually hot laps as well. It was really slimy when we first got out there and it was just getting better and better. So even to the end of qualifying, I feel like the lap times had the opportunity to improve because the racetrack was just getting a little wider, getting on the area at the very top where it was a little more banked and you could carry more speed. And I don't say that as an excuse like, oh, because we went out super early in qualifying was why we didn't qualify good. There's still opportunity there. I just didn't feel as comfortable with my balance between hot laps and qualifying. So we're going to work on the race car. I feel like kind of having a hard time, you know, being left and just rotating and completing the corner. So we're gonna make some adjustments and try to help me out also as well, because of course, once you're behind other cars at a small place like this, you have no wings. You don't have any wing speed by yourself, but you don't have any wing speed when you're behind other cars. So it's important to stay free so you can kind of move around and use whatever lane you can find to try to advance forward. Now moving into the heat race, the farther we finish up here is gonna help us in the feature. So we're gonna go to work, try to pass some cars and get the 21 closer to the front. Well, we started 5th and finished 5th there in that heat race. You guys know I don't ever like to harp on a racetrack. The best way I could put it is the track's just not conducive to really any passing. Starting 5th, I knew it was gonna be a tall task. There's definitely times when you're like, all right, even though we start in the back, we got a good shot here if we can really make the right moves. And I feel like even if I did everything I possibly could there in that heat race, I probably would have been lucky to pass one car. They just got the bottom of turn 1 and 2 and even 3 and 4. It's like they didn't really work the bottom of the corners, and so it already looks like a feature down there. It's like never had any moisture. It's just it's just like dust, and you have to run halfway up the racetrack because there's just so much grip. It's so much faster, a lot more banking. So just a tough spot for us to be in there. Qualifying's everything. So now we're gonna move into the main event. We're in the show, but we're gonna have to come from deep. I think if the racetrack widens out, we'll have a much better shot here in the A, but still it's going to be a tall task, and we're going to keep working on our race car. It is very important though in a moment like this to keep a good mindset. It's, you know, you're never happy when you're not running like you would like to. You know, you feel very frustrated. Easy for your head to spin. You're like, you know what, like where are we going wrong? Like what's our race car like? You know, what am I doing behind the wheel? But at the end of the day, you got to just bring it back, and hey, we have a feature now coming up. We're going to start deep. How many cars can we pass? How can we make the most of this situation? So that's what we're focused on now. We'll keep an eye on the surface as well, and hopefully it gets a little bit better, and that should help our cause with where we're starting. Well guys, time to climb in for our A main event. We have 30 laps upcoming, and the 21 is going to be rolling off from 14. I have a little bit more faith that the racetrack is going to be racy, let's just say, and that's what we're going to need. You know, rolling off from the 7th row outside starting position, we're going to have to make moves, and we're going to have to take advantage of what happens early. That's when all the cars are close together. I guess on a racetrack like this, you're always close together, but before, you know, everyone has the opportunity to kind of spread out, slice and dice, and being on the outside, sometimes you can, you know, carry momentum and kind of have a good angle at that first lap. So that's what we're really going to try to take advantage of. As I've mentioned all night long, we've worked on making adjustments, and for me, I've just been trying to, you know, look at the racetrack, study it, see what guys are doing. There's definitely a certain way to run the place, and you got to be smooth, but at the same time, you got to be able to drive around here a little bit sideways and know how to get your car at the correct angle to build the proper speed and run the line that is needed. And I think the same is going to go for this feature. There's just going to be a lot more cars out there, so we're looking for a semi hooked up racetrack. I do think it is going to slick off. It's really hard to judge. They have a lot of support classes here, and the surface looks like it's semi slick, so we're gonna see what happens. Oh, look who we got here. Nick, what do we got to do here in the feature?
Just drive.
Just drive.
Yeah.
Best advice I could have gotten. So rolling off from 14th, just drive.
He has my home track.
This is Nick's home track. This is Nick's home track.
It's only an hour, 20-minute away, 11 minutes down the road from our shop.
That's awesome. All right, well, good luck to you guys. Nick's guys on the pole. We roll off a little bit farther back, but like I was saying, I think it's just important to get rolling early, and I think the top side of both corners is still going to be a very good line, and at the same time, we're going to have to look and see if anything's better and just go where the guys in front of us aren't. So time to climb in and roll out for 30 laps. Well, a 14th to 5th run is going to end our night here at the Ocean Speedway. So we worked our way to the top 5. Felt like I'm happy with that. We'll take it. You know, I feel like you always feel like you leave a little bit on the table, right? That's dirt racing. It's the perfection that us racers expect out of ourselves. And what a tricky surface tonight. It definitely slickened off. It got better than what we had for qualifying and the heat races, but still difficult to pass and almost like melee slide jobs and restarts, and all sorts of chaos just ensued. Like, that's when guys were passing, or when you would make ground or lose ground, and some of it not even of your own fault. Like, everyone's just so aggressive. And I understand, because you know, you're obviously, you gotta take what you can get, but there was plenty of times where guys were taken and no one was given, and then that's when we saw maybe 3 or 4 crashes. around me, and I missed all of them somehow. Still very shocked that I was able to, keep my nose clean. That was part of what I told myself going into it. In a race like that, if you even want to have a shot at winning or a good result, you first must finish. It's such a balance too, because you don't want to get caught being too conservative, right? You have to be always working to move forward, and I felt like we had a fairly good balance with that. There at the end, it started to lay rubber, so I kind of just tried to get in line. I found it first. I also feel like I was one of the first guys early on in the race to grab my wing, which allowed me to gain a few positions. So looking back, maybe we could have done a few different things to get closer to a podium. Obviously, it would have been hard to win a race like that from 14th, but we always could improve our result just a little bit. But happy with that. We'll take the top 5, get the 21 cleaned up, and glad we're in one piece. Part of life on the road. The rig back to the shop, which is just about 2.5 to 3 hours. T-shirt trailer to follow. You can feel the cold ocean breeze, maybe almost a little bit of fog, hard to see at nighttime, but you can feel that we're close to the coast here. Wow, look at this cushion. Look at this cushion. Took rubber at the end, so we weren't on it at the final laps, but there was a gnarly curb. Actually not as treacherous if you got over it, but like smooth enough that you could really use it. And that was the one thing my team and I talked about at the end was, if one crucial difference I could have made during the race is if I would have got to the top a little bit sooner and just started hammering it. I think it could have made a little bit more speed. A lot of guys were cheating it. I was part of some of those guys, and then later on was able to make more speed once I moved up. So I definitely do that different, but otherwise, again, really glad that we missed all the chaos. I mean, tonight was not a night where it was easy to stay out of trouble. There was cars all over the place. So to say we ran a smart race, you have to go 14th to the top 5 in the situation that we were in. If there's one thing I can end today's show with, Ocean, they got a good facility, they got a nice racetrack here. I really believe that this place could be one of the raciest bull rings in all of California if they just go and widen every part of the entire track. 3 and 4 is close. It's the only area that's close to being wide enough for us to really put on a good show. The backstretch, it's just, it gets scary at times. I know Dominic Selzy and he wasn't trying to run me out of room. We just talked and he was like, I'm sorry. But it wasn't I don't even blame him, because we're literally, it's hard to go side by side. And the backstretch wall comes up quick. The front stretch, I guess, is a little bit better. 1 and 2 is too narrow. So yeah, anyway, Ocean Speedway, props to these guys. They've done a great job, trying to keep weekly racing alive for Friday nights in California. We absolutely need that. If it's possible, even if it makes this place more of a paperclip, if they're able to widen it out, literally 20, 30 feet over there, 10, 15 over there, get the straightaways, another 15 feet wider, man, we could have a seriously cool bull ring here. We just need a little more room to race. Anyway, thanks to everyone involved tonight. We'll take the top 5 on to the Tulare Thunderbolt tomorrow. A big thank you to Drew, Nate, Carly, Tazen, everyone at Tarlton Motorsports and their family. Sometimes I probably get on myself thinking man, how could I run harder? How can I get a little bit more? But I also get in this balance where I'm man, I want to secure good finishes also too. You don't want to be winning or wrecking every single night. That's where what I said earlier comes into play, leaving anything on the table. But at the same time, man, I do want our top 5s and our top 10s and our podiums, and I do want to win races, and I know how important it is to be there at the end to even have a shot. So if you're always taking yourself out, you never have a shot to be that guy parked on the front stretch. So anyway, Ocean Speedway, we survived. We missed all the chaos, and we brought the 21 home in a much better spot than we started the evening. And that's the good news. We're racing well. We just got to get back to working on qualifying, making a little more speed early in the night. Drivers got to work on a few things, and we're going to be up front contending for more victories. See you in the next one. Deuces.